up? What's up? What's up? All right, so let's get into the weekly wrap up, which is on Saturdays. I'm going to come here and we're going to talk about what went on in the nerdy news for the week. So, no, I'm not going to cover every single topic, but the big ones I'm going to try to touch. And today's big news was the Suicide Squad, James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, The Suicide Squad. It hit the screens at theaters and on HBO Max this week. It started on Thursday night, and it is continuing today as we go forward. It's currently boasting a 92% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, making it certified fresh, and it also has an 87% audience rating, despite an attempt by the Ayers Cut extremists. They wanted to review bomb the movie. So, of course, they do their little organized efforts. That's why I call them freaking theater terrorists. They do their organized attempt to bring a movie's rating down as if that makes the movie better or worse. You get what I'm saying? Like, eventually people are going to see the movie and realize that it's either good to them or bad to them without your input. So there's my question, is like, why even waste the time? Why even put yourself through doing all that work to review bomb a movie when the proof is in the pudding, you know? But anyway, this movie, like so many others this year, has been hindered by the ongoing pandemic, but it also was hindered by the WB's decision to drop the movie on HBO Max simultaneously. And I'm not saying that the studios, in a lot of ways, have a choice. Really, they don't. The movies are either going to sit on a shelf waiting for this pandemic to never end, or they're going to put it out at the movies and on their streaming services at the same time. The question I have is, why didn't HBO Max have a charge along with putting the movie on HBO Max? Why wouldn't you have to pay an upcharge to see the movie? Now, I'm not complaining that I didn't have to pay to see the movie beyond my subscription to HBO Max. I'm saying you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. Even Disney is making them pay that $30, which is like, once you've got a fourth member of your family, the $30 is less than what you would have paid at the movies. So my question is, why not charge something to make some money on the movie? Because as it stands, the movie is being hobbled by the Delta variant, of course, and it opened, the first day was a $12 million opening. So that's including the $4 million that it made on Thursday night. We're looking at $12 million for Friday. And the industry estimates that it won't surpass much more than $20 million for the entire weekend. So $24 to $25 million. Is that a disappointing opening for a movie that is coming out during a pandemic? That's my question to you. Do we expect a movie, especially a movie of the caliber of the Suicide Squad, that fans are talking very fondly of it, critics liked it? Why why is it only expected to make $20 million this weekend? And yes, a big part of it is the pandemic, but I think an even bigger part is, why would I even attempt to leave my house when I know that I can watch it for free on HBO Max? Again, I know that the studios are trying to make it up as we go along in these kinds of times, trying to figure out what way they can still get the content and the projects out, but not just lose money, not bleed money. And I think of course we'll get it perfected, and by the time we do, the pandemic will be over. But I do think that a lot of what is going on with the movies is because of day and date streaming. At least give it a week. At least give it a week in the theaters. So you let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll be checking on those to see what people's opinions are. My next topic is we're going right back to a topic that I made video about earlier this week, and that is the Scarlett Johansson lawsuit against Disney. And there's a whole video about it on my page if you'd like to know my thoughts. And if you are unaware of what I'm talking about, you can go check that video out. But things are starting to get a little more contentious, and as if they weren't contentious enough from the beginning. Right now, we have Gabrielle Carteris, who I absolutely loved back in the day. Gabrielle Carteris is the president of the Screen Actors Guild, and she's accused Disney of gender shaming. So she came out in defense of Scarlett Johansson. She said that, yeah, but pretty much that Disney is gender shaming and they ought to be ashamed of themselves. And you know what? I'm inclined to agree, because never, as a matter of fact, let me give you her full statement. Gabrielle Carteris: women are not callous when they stand up and fight for fair pay. They are leaders and champions for economic justice. Women have been victimized by pay inequality for decades. Oh, I'm sorry, pay inequity for decades. And they have been further victimized by comments like those in Disney's press statements. These sorts of attacks have no place in our society. SAG will continue to defend our members from all forms of bias. And that is coming from Gabrielle Carteris, who is the president of the Screen Actors Guild. And again, I'm inclined to agree with Gabrielle, because never, ever, have we heard of Disney coming out and explicitly outing how much Robert Downey Jr. makes, specifically how much he makes, or Chris Evans, or Chris Hemsworth. We don't see that happening. What the problem is Scarlett Johansson had the audacity to expect what she believes was written in her contract, because I've not seen her contract, so I don't know. But she and her lawyers believe that what was written in that contract was not lived up to, and that she has the audacity to challenge Disney. Now, of course, Disney, their attorneys, they have an entirely different story, and their side of the story was very poorly put out to the public. It came out more or less like an attack, instead of, oh, we've got this misunderstanding. This is between the family, and we're going to solve it between the family. No, they came out swinging, and unfortunately, they're still swinging, because Daniel Petrocelli, who is the attorney for the House of Mouse, he has further stated it is obvious that this is a highly orchestrated PR campaign to achieve an outcome that is not obtainable in the lawsuit. Now, he sat down with Variety and told them this. So not only did he say it, he's making sure he's saying it to the big trades, so that it gets as much publicity as possible. And this seems so counterintuitive to what you want to do. But okay, Daniel goes on to say, no amount of public pressure can change or obscure the explicit contractual commitments. The written contract is clear as a bell. So Daniel Petrocelli sounds like somebody who has looked over this contract. He knows better than I do what's in the contract. And he I think he's ready to believe that Disney is going to come out on top if this lawsuit ever makes it to court. Of course, Chris Evans, RDJ, Chris Hemsworth, all the big names in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is the first we're hearing of, hey, we've got this this big conflict with our talent. And it just so happens to be with Scarlett Johansson, one of the founding members of the Avengers. Again, if you want to know all about this situation, I did a short video about it a couple days back. As a matter of fact, yesterday. So it was uploaded yesterday. You know, take a look at that. Tell me what you think. But I can say that when Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. were still active duty Avengers, you know, when they were still active duty, Disney was under a different leadership. And part of me doesn't want to be judgmental over Bob Chapek and the way that he is running Disney. But this wouldn't happen under Bob Iger. And it is becoming quite apparent that Bob Chapek, the buck stops with him. So he's got to be letting these statements come out. And if he is, then I don't understand what the end game is. Do you want to alienate talent from your brand? Yes, we know you got the money, but if you're not trying to pay somebody who's been a cornerstone of your franchise, the Marvel franchise, for over a decade, if you're not trying to pay her, why would I want to join your group? Why would I want to be an Avenger? Why would I want to work with Disney while it's being helmed with Bob Chapek? Because I'm telling you, it doesn't sound like an appealing place to be. So at the end of the day, Bob Chapek is to blame, because now it's not just one thing. This is something that just keeps happening. These harshly worded statements, this public catfighting with Scarlett Johansson and her team. Somebody, if you think you're going to win, why do you have to say anything? Why do you have to keep this going? So let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm starting to get tired of hearing about it. I hope that Scarlett Johansson gets every penny that she is asking for, because now Disney is being extra petty, and I don't like it. All right. So now that I've ranted a little, moving along, we're going to go to the Venom trailer, because I, again, did a video this week. This week I was pretty busy with the videos. I put out a video every day this week, every single day. And I won't put out one tomorrow. I'm just letting you know I'm taking tomorrow off. But I put a video out every day this week, and one of those videos was my reaction to the Venom trailer. Now, let me tell you, that Venom trailer has left me wanting this movie. I cannot wait to see Let There Be Carnage and Woody Harrelson, and how he handles the Cletus Cassidy role, Eddie Brock and Venom, and their cat fighting amongst one another. I am here for the entire premise of Let There Be Carnage. And there was one thing that I did not, or that I failed to mention in the video, and that is that the original premiere date for Venom 2 was September 24th of this year. This latest trailer only said this fall. So that leaves the door open for the date to be moved. Now, I truly hope it doesn't have to be pushed for Delta, but when you really look at things, this is the way things look like they're going. We look like we're heading in a direction of our big blockbuster movies being pushed once again because of the pandemic. while that is completely understandable, it is also completely avoidable. Now we've seen big movies suffer, to include Black Widow and the Suicide Squad, and even the Dwayne Johnson movie Jungle Cruise with Emily Blunt. Even that movie struggled. And usually all it takes is for somebody to say Dwayne Johnson and everybody is emptying their wallets, you know. So this was a surprise to very many people that uh, that Jungle Cruise would go so bad. So with these big blockbuster movies not making as much money as they even potentially could earlier in the pandemic, if these big blockbuster movies are failing, why would you release another big blockbuster? So I'm wondering if I'm not sorry, Sony is going to push Let There Be Carnage to a later date to see if we can get ourselves past this huge spike in the Delta variant. I was going to say Delta Quadrant, like I'm thinking Star Trek. This Delta variant, uh, if we can see some type of improvement, if we even see that, okay, now we've got 80% of the nation vaccinated or whatever, uh, I'm wondering if it would be able to save the date where we can get this movie before the end of the year. Because guess what? If that movie gets pushed, we might be looking at far more movies. As a matter of fact, I think Sony knows that the next huge blockbuster that I can think of is Shang-Chi. And they're probably sitting back and waiting to see if that movie flops. But even though and I don't think that movie is coming out on Disney Plus at the same time. So I believe that Sony is probably sitting back and saying, let's watch and see what happens with Shang-Chi. If that movie does not do a respectable amount in the box office, we push our movie. And then subsequently, it may push all these releases, everything after it. And that is starting to drive me crazy. So I'm not going to preach at nobody. Let's hope that that's not the case, that this is not what happens with Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Oh, and I guess, and for those of you who want to check out my video, that's the thumbnail. You can find it, listen to my trailer reaction, but I pretty much just gave you the update to what was going on, what I was talking about in that particular uh, video. And speaking of trailers, another trailer came out. This one is for Kate. Now, Kate is a Netflix original, and it stars Mary Elizabeth Winstead from Birds of Prey, and also Woody Harrelson again. So, in my opinion, this trailer, it looked pretty good. The trailer looks pretty good. It's action heavy, beautifully shot, but it is a Netflix original. and it makes me feel like all the best parts of the movie may be in the trailer. If that is a trailer that you want me to share my reactions to, you can just go ahead and put that in the comments, and I will definitely, I've already seen the trailer, but I will definitely, give you a little commentary of what I believe is going on. And as far as I can gather, the movie follows Kate, and Kate is a criminal operative. She looks like her last name might be Wick. So Kate, in her endeavors, she gets irreversibly poisoned, and then she spends the last 24 hours that she has alive exacting revenge on her enemies. So, and of course, just like any other movie of late, there's a kid in this movie too, because what is a gory action thriller without a kid? And if you can see right here, there's the top of Woody Harrelson's head too. I kind of cropped that kind of effed up, huh? But yeah, I do want to see this movie. I'm glad that it will be part of our Netflix um, subscription. Like that, it is not something that was coming out at the movies that it could possibly find itself bumped. We're going to actually get this movie, and with all of my smarts and all of my intelligence, I forgot to write down when the movie is coming out, and I know it's sometime soon. But this again, first trailer looks pretty good, and I can't wait to see how it works. But I know with as far as Netflix originals go, sometimes they can be very, very, very iffy. Like you can one minute you think, wow, this movie looks really good. And then the next second, it's within the first 15 minutes, you've seen everything that was in the trailer, and the rest of it is garbage. Hopefully that's not the case. We got some strong actors and actresses in it. And it's set in Tokyo, which that actually adds to the intrigue of it. There's a lot of shit going on in Tokyo right now. So I can't wait to see what happens with that movie. What if is next on my docket? What if? Now, what if show that's coming on is coming to Disney Plus? It is exciting me. I'm very excited for this. And the reason why is, well, besides the fact that we got 4 episodes of Chadwick Boseman finishing out his run as T'Challa, I'm thrilled that we at least get this one last performance, even though it is just a uh, voice acting. Disney or Marvel, because I don't even want to talk about Disney. Marvel is saying that these episodes are canon. These episodes will be canon, and how they will be canon. And by canon, if some of you might not, if you don't know what canon is, that means that it is actually happened in Marvel universe. This is not something like an Elseworld story or just what if. It's saying that these things happen in on a different world than the world that we are accustomed to in the MCU. And of course, Loki is the reason that show is the reason that the multiverse has opened up and that we will get these other stories because in all these different worlds, the same people existed. And as those people existed, their life may have taken a different trajectory than they did in on our earth. And one of the things was that in this world, Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa, he actually became Star Lord. He was the kid kidnapped from Earth by Yandu, and he grew up traversing the stars, and he became Star Lord. And you see him here with Drax. So again, this opens the world up to a lot of possibilities. And this is something that I am completely interested in seeing because why not? And also, another thing that happens, in fact, the first episode, I believe, will be Peggy getting the super soldier serum instead of Steve Rogers. So if Peggy got the super soldier serum, that would make her Captain Carter or Captain Britain. And Captain Britain opens up a whole different world of possibility because Captain Britain in the comics had her own little band of heroes, and gosh, there's so many different places that this thing can go, and I am certainly looking forward to seeing where this thing goes next. Where it goes next. Last, well, not quite last. I'm getting ahead of myself. It's not last. Oh, I'm sorry. What If will start on Wednesday, August 11th on Disney Plus, and I will cover What If on our Saturday wrap up shows moving forward. So if you want to hear me talk about the episode of What If, join me here next week on Saturday, and that is one of the many topics that we will cover. Something else that's coming out is Star Trek Lower Decks. And look, everybody knows that the only thing that I love more probably than the MCU is Star Trek. I do. I do. I really do. But for some reason, these fools don't love me. Every time I try to do something uh, with a Star Trek property, I get hit with these like copyright claims, and or they just take the video down or whatever. Look, Paramount, listen. Everybody is doing reaction videos in this day and age. As in fact, I did one to Prodigy, which is another Star Trek property that's coming out, and it didn't get copyrighted. It's only when I do things that are made for Paramount Plus do I get these nasty pulling my video down type shit. And listen, I'm not saying that I'm 100% correct. There's got to be a way that I can go about it and get your permission to do a reaction to your trailers. But God, it's like I'm trying to hype up your show. There are a lot of Trekkies, fake Trekkies, who just don't like anything that's being done right now. So we can't get through to them. But there are real Trekkies out there who would like to know whether this is something that they might want to see. And if they identify with me as a creator, then if they may take what I say with a little grain of salt and say, hey, I want to watch this. Instead, you guys are yanking down the very free advertising that you get. And that's fucking stupid to me. Excuse my French. I'm gonna need y'all to be better. So yeah, but this is coming out also on the 11th. I'm going to do those in video forms, and they will be put out. My reviews of these episodes. I'm sorry. My reviews of Star Trek Lower Decks will be coming out the following day after it airs on Paramount Plus. And let me get hit with one copyright. I promise you, I will stop fucking with Star Trek. You guys, really, free advertising, really? Okay, so I'm gonna stop being angry. You know, I still love Star Trek. I'm a little bit on the fence about this show. In fact, I've already done a trailer reaction that I had to hack up because Paramount snatched their content out of my out of my reaction video, because that just makes sense. Okay, that turned into a rant, didn't it? I apologize. I'm not always this mean. It's just I don't do nothing but love Star Trek, and how they gonna play me? But anywho, my last and my not least topic for today is DC's Titans that's coming on HBO Max, and that's coming on the 12th of August. This is just about to be an action-packed week next week. I feel like Nick Fury and Nick Fury's big week. It's going to be so much to talk about. Lord, please don't let us get that Far From Home, I'm sorry, No Way Home trailer to just further bury us in nerd content. And I mean, everybody will be having a flipping nerdgasm if that if that trailer comes out next week. So I kind of hope it does. Let's see. We'll see. Titans. This is season 3 of the DC Teen Titans take. And I have been a fan of the first 2 seasons. There are a lot of people who are expecting so much more, but you got to remember this was coming on that. Oh God, I don't even remember the name of that streaming service anymore. It's been a little while, but I had it. It was DC. Can't remember what it was. They shut that down. WB did, and moved everything to HBO Max. So now in HBO Max, got a little bit more money, a little bit more big budget. And I think that this is going to be a better looking season of Titans. And because I think we've got all the exposition out the way. The only thing that is left to deal with from last season is Corey and her sister going at it. Starfire and Blackfire. I can't wait to see them. We've got the Red Hood making his appearance this season. It looks like it's going to be great. I'm going to follow this. This will be, I will talk about Titans season 3 also on my Saturday weekly wrap-up show. And hopefully it doesn't run me into going crazy amounts of time. I'll also chop up that weekly wrap-up show and put the snippets on YouTube just in case you're unable to join me for the weekly wrap-up. And looks like that's it. I have talked my ass off for the last, say, 40 minutes. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys took something from it. And if not, maybe you better luck next week because I'll be back. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, I will be back. So again, I appreciate anybody for watching. Make your comments. If you viewing this on the rebroadcast, please subscribe. Let me know if there's anything that you'd like to see me cover on this here channel after the snap. If so, I'll be glad to take a look at it and see if it is something that I can handle. With all that being said, I've got nothing else for you this week. Thank you so much, and I will catch you on the flip. Peace.